All right, what is up YouTube? TradeModeJames here with Zone Trading Group. Guys, today in this video, I'm going to make a quick one, probably around 8 minutes, and just go over the price action, what's happened since the breakout, what I think is coming up, and what I think could potentially happen in the future coming weeks. So let's get right to that. Before I do that, though, actually, make sure you guys hit the like button on this video, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, blah, blah, blah. You guys know what to do, all right? Anyways, let's get right to this. So let's start at a 4-hour time frame. I like to use the 4-hour. It's one of my favorite time frames. And you can see here that we have broken out of this wedge, all right? Back here on January 28th, we had found a floor. We had a double bottom here around $2.65, down to about $2.61. So we had a floor here, we had a double touch here, and from this touch point right here on the 28th of January, we broke out of this wedge. And this wedge, mind you, has been going on for about, I don't know, since about June. I mean, if you want to call the top up here at $28 part of the wedge, I'm not going to do that since we did come down and go all the way back up. So we're going to start, basically the wedge started from about June 10th. And since June 10th, we've been in a downtrend, all right? We came down to this golden zone and, kind of just consolidated up and down, creating some liquidity on both sides of the market. A lot of liquidity, actually. A lot of liquidity on the top side, okay? A lot of people were shorting this thing. A lot of retail traders are shorting this thing. And there's a lot of money, a lot of stop losses up here, guys. All right, they're far in the green here, okay? And a lot of them are greedy. They already know retail traders are greedy, okay? They're not... if you didn't close at 261, you might be in some trouble here, okay? Honestly, I mean, a lot of them, I don't know. I mean, it just blows my mind that they could short this thing from a retail trader mindset down to 261. That's crazy. So if they didn't cover here, they might be in some trouble here, okay? But we have broken out of the wedge, and we have our first confirmation. I did not count this breakout as the confirmation number one because we got faked out back here on January 4th. I did put $5,000 here live on the stream, so you guys saw that and you heard that. So I did do that here, and we got faked out at the 200, okay? We got to close above the 50, but fake out at the 200, which put us back down below the 50, back down the wedge, and from there we came all the way down to these two touch points. Now, what you're going to see here that is very important is that you're going to see this golden cross on the 4-hour potentially happening here. The pink line going across the screen is the 50 SMA, and the blue line going across the screen is the 200 SMA. So, we're about to have a golden cross here on the 4-hour, and I think that could set us up for a long-term reversal. That's kind of what I've been waiting for. I really want to see it on the daily, and you can see that this is a daily time frame here, that it's starting to kind of curve up as price moves up towards the 200. Now, I do expect a little bit of resistance here. We've had quite a run, from 261, came up to about 350, and then back down to the trend line here, creating a new trend line. All right, so this is a brand new trend line, and I do expect us to come back down and test the trend line again, giving us another touch point, creating strength, creating power, and hopefully finding support here as we continue to go to the upside. Now, if we break out of this trend line, we're not going to no longer be in this wedge. Price would have, I mean, if we broke out of this trend line here to the bottom, we'd have to come, I mean, it would be way down here. It's just we're not going to be back in the wedge. So I think, guys, I honestly think, just from looking at this chart and knowing what I know, that 260-ish was the floor. Okay, it's not going to be unheard of if we do break trend and come back down to 260. All right, that's not going to be out of the realm of possibility. Okay, nothing's guaranteed in these markets, but I will tell you this: it looks extremely promising. Okay, if I go down to like a 1-hour time frame, you'll see that we had this little flag pattern here. I think it was early yesterday, the 7th. No, it was a couple days ago. We had this pennant forming, this flag pattern here, and we gapped up the next day. I think this was what was this, the 9th? So yesterday we gapped up out of this flag here for a nice breakout on the 1-hour time frame, and we came up into this demand zone. If we look at this demand zone and we look to the left, which I am trained to do, and I try to train everybody I do one-on-ones with, always look to the left and see what happened over here. This was the original demand zone that the first ATH came from, this 975 ATH. All right, and then from there it just spawned all the other craziness that happened up to 24, up to 28, etc., etc. So this is the OG demand zone of this original move, and we are now above it. So it looks promising. This demand zone has only been hit one time. This is the first time and the only time that the hedge funds and the banks had used this zone to move the market. This was not retail traders moving the price up. These are the banks, okay? And they, typically demand zones, supply zones, they get hit, 2-3 times, and then they run dry and they start finding new zones. So the fact that we're above this zone now is very promising. They might use this zone again to, bring the price to the top side and start attacking that liquidity that is up here around 975. With that being said, it's not going to be unheard of for us to have a pullback and come back down to the trend line, guys. All right, so that very well might happen. We might come back down, kind of consolidate here, maybe for a few days. Maybe, I mean, maybe not. We're gonna have to wait and see. I can't predict these markets. I really, I try to, but I really also try to stay away from that because I know that creates disappointment. I try to react to what the price is telling me. I know my technical analysis, and I know these zones, and I know how price moves. So if we can hold above this demand zone, we likely will consolidate around here, maybe up to about 440 possibly, this next level of structure. Between $4 and $4.40, this little zone up here, and then maybe come back down for a touch point. I would love to see a touch point on this trend line again because that shows a lot of strength. But I don't want to see it below this demand zone. I would like to see the touch point somewhere over here. So if we consolidate for a week or so, and then get the touch point and stay in this demand zone, that's going to be good. That's going to it's going to give me some confidence that this is going to hold and be support for the run that's going up. Now, like I said, guys, let's go back to the 4 hour real quick. We're about to get this golden cross, and like I said, this has not really happened in a long time. We have not had a solid golden cross since what I guess you could call this one August 12th, but this really was just kind of a BS one, and it wasn't very strong. And we were also still in the wedge, so it really didn't. I mean, this golden cross could have taken us up to the trend line, and we just find resistance come back down. So the fact that we're getting the golden cross on the higher time frames outside of the wedge, let me repeat that. We're getting the golden cross on the higher time frames outside of the wedge after we've broken out of the wedge, an 8-month wedge. That is what we wanted to see. All right, we don't care if if you're scalping or you're day trading this thing, then getting these crosses, like right here, this death cross, you could have traded this and made some money on the bottom side. But for long-term movements, for longevity of the price of the stock, we want to see the golden crosses happen outside of the wedge, and that's exactly what's about to happen. So, like I said, we have a lot of potential here. Every touch point that we make, adds to the strength of the stock. Right now, we're sitting at $4.01. This is a live chart. So we just broke $4, and it's just looking really good. It really is. Let's go to a daily real quick, and you guys will see the same story. Like I said, we're just waiting for the golden crosses to happen as on the higher time frames. So, we got it all the way up to the 4 hour, and the 4 hour is about to happen. So that's kind of very promising. Let's look at RSI real quick. I imagine it's maybe somewhere in the middle, maybe a little close to the overbought. Yeah, it's pretty much almost overbought. So 66 on the RSI. I imagine that we're probably going to see a pullback in the next day or so, potentially bringing us back down to that trend line for another touch point. That would not be the end of the world. Maybe we just pull back to the 200. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But RSI is fairly high right now, 66 on the daily, on the 4 hour time frame on the daily. RSI is a little bit lower, around half, around 53 on the RSI. So we have some room to run, guys. If we can get above that 200 SMA, this blue line on the daily, I'm telling you, 975 is in the horizon. It's in the sights. It's right there. I'm telling you guys, because there's just so much reason for the market makers to be moving this to the top side. There just is. All the money's up here. So if you know how the market makers think, if you know how the banks, why and how they move the charts, they move it. They move the price where the money is, right? So we know that this thing is heavily shorted by retail investors and institutions, and they pay for that data. So we know that, and I know just by looking at this chart that the money's up here. All right, the money's up here. So that makes sense why they would start attacking this top side liquidity, because if we look at the bottom side liquidity, I mean, the only real liquidity on the bottom side here is the people that were buying right here. And I mean, there's just not many people that were in this here. Most people started buying around $10, to be honest with you. Not many people even were buying this area right here. A lot of people got in after $10. So we know that most of the retail money's up here. And so to me, that's promising. But it is 9:52 in the morning right now, so there's still a lot to go for the day. A lot of stuff that could happen. We could pull back to the trend line today, but I think we continue up a little bit. I think right now, let me pull my phone out real quick. I was not prepared for this. Oh my God. Currently, right now as it stands, we are up 2.96%. So that's not bad, guys. If we keep having these 3, 4, 5% days, that's going to add up, And we're gonna get above that 200. We're so close, guys. 474 right now on the daily is where this 200 is. So we need to move. We have some hurdles in front of us. All right, moving 75 cents or 74 cents in a short amount of time, on a stock like this with little volume and that's heavily shorted is hard to do. So, but if we can do it, we're going to get that golden cross in the 4 hour. We're going to get that golden cross in the daily. And I think we're going to be testing that 975 coming up in the near future. Guys, don't hold me to this, okay? I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just giving you guys my opinion on the charts. And, you know, take what I say with a grain of salt, please. But this would not be a bad time to average down. You know, we have broken trend. We have broken, you know, the wedge. We're getting above these SMAs. We're climbing to above these levels of structure. We're above the OG demand zone. So, you know, make an educated decision. But I would say if you're trying to average down and you've been wanting to wait for a safe spot to do it, you know, now that we're out of this wedge and above these areas of structure, this would not be a bad time to consider doing it, okay? And even some options maybe, all right? So, like I said, guys, Microvision is looking great. I'm excited about the future of it. I was able to take advantage of these super wholesale prices. I am so glad I have a lot of shares at a low average. And I know that if you have an average below, you know, $6 or $7, you're going to be very happy with your investment. Mark my words. In the near future, medium future, or long-term future, I don't know which one it's going to be, but at some point, we're going to land a deal. At some point, we're going to be back up there. Look at Summit's, you know, his average on whatever shares he was allocated. Look at Saval Oz's average. They're very high. So they would not have taken those there if they didn't expect this to be back up in the green, all right? So make sure you guys like this video. That's all I have for you today. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, hit the subscribe button. And all of you, make sure you hit the notification bell, obviously, so you get notified when I drop a video or I go live. Microvision looks great, guys. Oh, I forgot one thing. Let's look at Fintel real quick. We have, okay, 400,000 as of 3 hours ago. So it's being shorted, but we're still moving to the upside. That's manipulation. That's what makes me think the banks are doing this, and this is possibly where they start moving the price up to get those shorts off of our backs, all right? That's all I have for you today, guys. Peace and love from my end. TradeModeJames, Zone Trading Group, signing out. Peace.